A very warm welcome to all the students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students. A warm welcome to all the students of Standard 8. Today we shall study a new topic in English grammar. I request you all to take down notes as it will help you all during your exams. Thank you. Today's topic for our English grammar is participle and gerund. Hello students, I, Miss Dezal, teacher of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College, will be helping and teaching you all to understand the topic verb ending in ing, that is gerund and present participles. I hope you all are ready with your rough books where you all can note down the main important points whenever necessary. Once again, a warm welcome. Previously, in my previous video, we had studied about infinitives, and I've mentioned earlier in that video, verb, there are two types, finite verb and non-finite verb. Finite verb change according to the subject and tenses, whereas non-finite verb has no such changes. I have also mentioned that in non-finite words there are three kinds: infinitives, participles and gerund. A non-finite is not a verb, it is a different part of speech. There are three kinds of non-infinitive verb: infinitives, participles and gerunds. We have already studied infinitives. Today we shall focus more on what exactly are participles and gerunds. If you look closely, both are exact identical in sense, but there are slight differences. We shall study that today, which will help you all to identify which is gerund and which sentence is a participle. I request your full concentration in this entire video. You all might get confused, but I promise you all to make this topic as simple as I can. Let's begin with our topic. Firstly, we will deal and will study what exactly is a gerund. A gerund is called as a verbal noun. It is the ing form of the verb which acts like a noun. I don't want you all to get confused, and therefore I am teaching you all separately what exactly is a gerund and what exactly is a participle. The work of a gerund is like a verbal noun. Okay, it acts like a noun. It does everything that a noun does. It can act as a subject of the verb. It can act as an object of the verb. It can also act as an object of the preposition, a subject complement, an object complement, and it can be used with compound nouns as well. In a particular sentence, it is not possible that you will get gerund in the start where the subject is. It can be anywhere. And if you get in a particular sentence a verb which ends with ing, that is v1 plus ing, then that particular word will be gerund also and can be participle also. But I am here to clear your doubts. First, let's concentrate more on gerund. A gerund can act as a noun. It acts like a noun only. Okay? That particular verb can be in the place of a subject also. It can be in the place of an object also. It can be right after a preposition. It can be a subject complement also. It can be as an object complement also. And it can be used with a compound noun as well. We will be studying one by one with examples, and your doubts will be cleared. But let's not forget, a gerund acts like a noun. Okay, now we shall study each act in detail. Okay, now we shall study about gerund as a subject of the verb. In a particular sentence, in place of your subject, you will get a verb that is ending with ing. That place is called as subject of the verb. Now, gerund, which means V1 plus ing. Okay, a verb which ends with ing is a gerund. Now, this gerund can be in the place of a subject also, can be in the place of an object also, and can be after a preposition also. But now we shall study as a subject of the verb. Driving is too fast. Driving too fast is risky. Now the word driving is a verb over here. It's ending with ing and it is doing a work of a noun. It is telling us something is risky. So what is risky? Driving is risky. And therefore we see that driving, that is a verb but it acts like a noun, is in a place of a subject. So gerund can be in the place of a subject as well. Let's move to another example. Walking is good for health. Now over here, walking is a verb, but we have added ing. When verb plus ing is added, we get walking, and this is represented as gerund. Walking acts as a noun in that particular sentence. And we can also ask a question, what is good for health? And the answer comes walking. Walking is good for health, and therefore walking over here in this particular sentence acts as a noun. Let's move to our third example. Your teaching is too good. Over here, your teaching is a subject. Gerund can also be in form of a possessive. Words like mine, your, their. And therefore, we see in this particular sentence, your teaching. Okay, so what is good? Your teaching. We get the answer, your teaching. And therefore, the word teaching is a verb in this particular sentence and it acts as a gerund because it's a noun which tells us what is good and it gives us the answer, your teaching. Now, if you all want to find in a particular sentence what is gerund, you all can ask the question, what? Okay, and if you get that answer, that particular sentence is a gerund. But also remember that if you cut down the noun, that sentence doesn't make sense at all. For example, driving too fast is risky. If we cut down the noun driving, does that particular sentence make sense? Too fast is risky. What too fast? We don't know what is too fast is risky. And therefore, in a particular sentence, firstly, you can ask the question what. If you get the answer, then that particular sentence is gerund. I'm sharing you all a secret over here. Secondly, if in a particular sentence, if you cut down the noun, that particular sentence won't make sense at all. And therefore, that sentence can also be a gerund. I hope this concept is clear for you all. A gerund can be in the place of a subject also, and it can be also in a place of an object also. Now we shall study if a particular gerund is in the place of an object, how can we identify? I hope the subject part is clear. I repeat it once again. If we cut down driving in a particular sentence, not driving, if in a particular sentence, if we cut down noun, then that particular sentence won't make sense at all. Okay? And then you all can ask a question what. If we get that answer, then that particular sentence is a gerund. We can ask question what, how, whom. And if we get the answer, then that particular sentence is a gerund. Now we shall move ahead. Now we shall move ahead where gerund act as an object of the verb. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the ing form of the verb used as a noun is known as a gerund. Okay, now please don't forget this because it's very important. Now we shall study how a gerund acts as an object to the verb. In the first sentence, I like cooking. Over here, what I like something. What I like cooking. So, cooking is an object of the word like. Now, let's move to a next sentence. He enjoys swimming. Now, he enjoys something. So, what he enjoys? He enjoys swimming. And over here, we get swimming is an object of the word enjoys. Now, in the third sentence, she hates ironing clothes. Now, in this particular sentence, she hates what? She hates ironing clothes. See, we are getting the answer when we ask the question what. So, ironing clothes is an object of the word hates. So, now we see that cooking, swimming, ironing clothes is in the part where particular object is there in a particular sentence. It is not there in a subject form. So as I mentioned earlier that gerund is not always possible that it will be in the subject place. It can be in the object place also. It can be after preposition also. So we have to be very attentive when we identify which one is gerund and which is a participle. I hope this concept is clear where gerund can acts as an object of the verb. So I'll have to ask the question what. We'll get the answer. I hope you all are getting the concept of gerund and participle. For now, we are concentrating on gerund. Even in participle, we use ing. But here I am sharing all tricks where you all can identify well where in a particular sentence, whether that particular sentence is a gerund or participle. I have given you all tips, so please keep that in mind. Now we shall move ahead. Gerund as an object of a preposition. Sometimes in a particular sentence, right after the preposition, we will have a verb which acts as a noun, and that word after preposition is a gerund. So in a particular sentence, if we find a preposition and right after that if we get a gerund or we get a verb which ends with ing and acts as a noun, then that particular sentence is a gerund. Now let's move to three examples. The first one, she is good at singing. Over here, the gerund over here is singing. Okay, and at is an object of the preposition of at. Sorry. So in this particular sentence, we see that singing is a gerund over here, and the object of the preposition is at. The second sentence, he apologized for being rude. In this particular sentence, for is a preposition and being over here is a gerund. So being over here is a gerund and object of a preposition is for. In the third sentence, the boy complained of bullying. Now, please, you all tell me in this particular sentence, which is a preposition and which one is a gerund. So in this particular sentence, bullying is a gerund. It acts as a noun. Okay? And the object of the preposition in this particular sentence is of. The boy complained of bullying. Okay? I hope you all understood this concept of gerund which acts right after the preposition. We will have a verb ending with ing and it acts as a noun. Don't forget, gerund acts as a noun. It can be in the place of a subject also. It can be in the place of an object also. It can be right after the preposition also. If we get such hints, then that particular sentence is gerund. Because in exams, they will tell you all to identify which particular sentence is gerund and which particular sentence is a participle. I hope the concept of gerund is getting clear. Now we shall move ahead. Now we will study gerund as a subject complement. Now what is the meaning of the word subject complement? Subject complement means it gives extra information about subject. Okay, a subject complement is a noun, a pronoun, an adjective following a linking verb. Linking verb which links two sentences or which helps the particular sentence to get completed. Now, the government goal is eliminating poverty. Now over here, in this particular sentence, can anyone tell me what is the linking word over here? I hope you all have got it right. Is a linking word in this particular sentence. It is linking that there is something about that government is having a goal. What something it is, what goal the government is having? The goal is to eliminating poverty. So we see that in this particular sentence, when a particular sentence is linked with a linking verb, then that particular sentence is a gerund. We shall move to the next example. What I really like is traveling around the world. Now, in this particular sentence, we see that is a linking word which is linking two sentences, and it is telling us about, it is telling more about, it's giving extra information about the subject. Over here, I is a pronoun. Now, in this particular sentence, what I really like to do, I really like traveling around the world. See, we are getting the answer. And if we cancel is traveling, check whether that particular sentence is making sense. What I really like traveling if we cancel is traveling, let's check whether that particular sentence is making sense. What I really like around the world. It is not, the particular sentence is incomplete. So you all understood, I feel. I'll repeat it once again. In a particular sentence, if we cut down noun, that particular sentence doesn't make a sense at all. If we ask the question what, who, whom, and if we get the answer, then that particular sentence is a gerund. Now, the gerund can be in a place of a subject also, it can be placed in the object also, it can be placed right after a preposition, or it can be as a subject complement also. Where subject complement means it is a linking word, it links the verb and it is telling us what exactly a complement, what exactly the noun gives more information to us. Our primary need is eating twice a day. Now ask the question, what is our primary need? So we get the answer, eating twice a day. So in this particular sentence we see is a linking verb over here, and it acts as a gerund which tells us more about the subject. Our primary need is a subject over here. Is eating is a noun, it is telling more about the subject. I hope you all understood the concept of subject complement. Now let's move at a last concept. Now we shall move ahead where gerund acts as an object complement. In the previous we studied about gerund as a subject complement, where I have mentioned that in subject complement it gives extra information about the subject, and over here gerund as an object complement where we get to know extra information about an object. Though this particular thing is not common, gerund can be used as an object complement also. I love her writing letters. I don't love her, but I love something in her. What I like writing letters. So we see it is giving us more information about an object. Okay. In the second sentence, he hates the movie misleading people. He does not hate all the movies. He hates something. What he hates movies which misleads the people. Okay. So previously we studied that subject complement. Now here we have object complement. compound, it gives us extra information about object. It is giving us extra knowledge, extra info about the object. Now we shall move ahead to one last concept in gerund. So gerund can be act as a subject, it can act as an object, it can act as a subject complement, it can act as an object complement, it can act as a preposition, and the last one, it is component. Now we shall see that. Now we shall move ahead to our last concept where gerund acts as a compound noun. In our grammar portion, we don't have that concept where gerund is acting as a compound noun, but still I am giving you all this extra information which will help you all in your future life. Now what is compound noun? Compound noun is a noun that is made up of two or more words. Most compound nouns in English are formed by nouns modified by other nouns or adjectives. For example, the word tooth and paste are each nouns in their own right. But if we join them together, then we have a new word, that is toothpaste. Okay. So to tell you about the definition of a compound noun, a compound noun is a noun made up of two or more words. Each makes up part of the meaning of the noun. Compound noun can be written with a single word. So now in this sentence here, she loves exercising in swimming pool. Okay. So over here we see that gerund acts in a compound words also. It can act as a compound also, that is swimming pool. Now in the next example, he is taking driving lessons. So over here we see that driving lessons is a compound noun over here, which acts as a gerund in that sentence. I love bird watching. Now here bird is a different word, watching is a different word. But if we add together, we get a compound noun as in bird watching, and we see that over here this particular sentence is a gerund where compound noun bird watching is used. So in gerund, the gerund can be in the place of a subject, it can act as an object, it can act as a subject complement, it can act as an object complement, it can act right after the preposition, and it can act as a gerund in a compound noun. I hope this concept is clear, and if you want to identify which one is gerund, ask the question what. And also if you remove that particular noun, then that particular sentence won't make sense at all. We can take an example. If we cut down a noun, that is bird watching, then that particular sentence is an incomplete sentence. It makes no sense. Then you can ask the question what I love, you will get the answer bird watching. So this way you can identify which one is a gerund. I hope this concept of gerund is clear. Now we shall move ahead to our new topic, that is participle. Now we shall study about participle. What is a participle? As I have mentioned earlier, in non-finite word we have three kinds. Infinitives, we studied gerund, and now the last one is the participle. A participle is a form of a verb that is non-finite that functions as an adjective. In gerund, it functions as a noun, and in participle, it will function as an adjective. Even though that particular sentence ends with ing, in participle we see that particular sentence will act as an adjective if it is a participle, and if it is a gerund, it will act as a noun. Now we will see an example. I love to see the rising sun. In this particular sentence, rising is the participle because it is a verb, okay, and it is telling us, it describes the noun sun. Now can you all tell me what is an adjective? I'm giving you all 1 second to think. Can anyone tell me what is an adjective? As we have studied in parts of speech, an adjective is a word which is used to add something to the meaning of a noun. So now it is telling us more about the noun, it is describing us, and therefore rising over here is an adjective. It is telling us it is a participle, it is a verb, and it is describing more about the noun sun. Now, as I mentioned earlier, present participle or participle is called as a verbal adjective. Over there we studied that gerund is called as a verbal noun, but in participle it acts as a verbal adjective. If you'll remember my slide in infinitives, I have mentioned over there participle V1 plus ing or V3, or it can be having plus ing. But we will study only present participle because only present participle is there in your for your portion. So in present participle or participle, it acts as a verbal adjective. It is an ing form of a verb which can be used. It can be used as an adjective or as a part of a continuous form of verb. Now, with few examples, you will understand it to the best of the knowledge. Over here, the trick to remember is, if in a particular sentence, if that particular sentence is an ongoing action, then that particular sentence is a participle. I repeat it once again. In a particular sentence, if any action is ongoing, it is continuous, okay, then that particular sentence is a participle. Now, I can give you all an example of a gerund where you will see that that particular sentence is not working. Okay, it is not working for now. Whereas participle sentences, the sentence will be in a continuous form. Some verb will be continuous. For example, reading is a good exercise. As I mentioned over here, reading is a subject, it is a gerund, and it is not an ongoing action. It is just telling us that reading is a good exercise. For now, no one is reading or no one is doing, but we know it is giving us an information that reading is good exercise. Okay. Now, we will take one of the example of participle. Grandfather uses reading glasses. Now, in this particular sentence, we see that grandfather is doing something. He is reading something. Okay. So, we see that there is an action in that particular sentence. So, in participle, we see that in any sentence, if there is any action a person is doing, then that particular sentence is a participle and it acts as an adjective. We will move ahead with an example and that concept will be clear. So now we shall study about present participle as an adjective. Now even in gerund we use V1 plus ing, that is verb plus ing, and also in participle we use V1 plus ing. But now remember that in participle the main verb, okay, the main verb will act as an adjective, and therefore you all will understand as we move ahead with the meanings. Examples, sorry. Now over here in the first sentence, have you heard of his exciting adventure? Oh my god, look at this picture. Now in this picture we see that exciting is the main verb. Okay, it is acting as an adjective, it is telling more about the noun. Okay, now let's move to our next sentence. The movie is boring. How is the movie? It is very boring. So it is telling us boring, it is telling us it is an adjective, it is telling us more about the noun. It is telling more about the movie, that the movie is boring. And if we see that an adjective is there in a particular sentence, then that particular sentence is a participle. Today's cookery class is interesting. How was the class? It is very interesting. So the interesting over here is the main verb. Okay. Now ask the question. How was the class? It was very interesting. It is telling more about the noun. It is telling more about the class, cookery class. Okay. So we see that in a particular sentence, if a main verb is telling more about an adjective, then that particular sentence is a participle. Now let's move to our second type. Present participle as a continuous form of verb. Now we have studied in tenses, that is present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, then present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous tense. So we have 6 types of tense where a continuous action is made. And as I've mentioned earlier, that if you'll have to identify a participle, check whether that particular sentence whether that action is ongoing, and if in that particular sentence an action is ongoing, then that particular sentence is a participle. Okay, over here it acts as a main verb in all continuous form of tense. We have 6 types of tense as I've mentioned earlier. I repeat it once again: present continuous tense, past continuous tense, future continuous tense. Then we have present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, future perfect continuous tense. So we have 6 types, and in that we see an ongoing action taking place, while the helping verb denotes tenses. So we have helping verb in all 6 types, different helping verbs. So if we see this helping verb, then that particular sentence is a participle. Now we will see with our first example. He is eating his breakfast. Now is a helping verb over here. Eating is a main verb, and we see that some action is going on. That particular person is eating his breakfast. Okay. Now in the second question, example, he has been waiting for her for an hour. In this we see that waiting over here is the main verb. Has been is the helping verb. Now this particular sentence is present perfect continuous sentence, and we see that some action is going on. He has been waiting. He is waiting for so long. Now let's move to our third sentence. Her parents will be coming soon. Will be is a helping verb, and coming is a main verb, and this particular sentence is a future continuous sentence, and therefore we see that some action is taking place. Her parents will be coming soon. Her parents will come when that particular time will be there. So we see an action taking place. Okay, I hope you all understood this concept. Now I know you all have got confused, but if you all keep on watching my video, you all might understand. An easy way to tell the difference between a participle and a gerund is, nouns are usually the key components of a sentence. You take out the noun and that sentence won't make sense at all. Adjectives, on the other hand, are not so vitally important. Take out the adjective and the sentence will still make sense, although it's descriptive. Now, in the particular sentence, we see swimming was her favorite activity. Now, first, check whether that sentence is a participle or gerund. As I mentioned earlier, participle are those words, sentences where particular action is taking place. Now, swimming was her favorite activity. It is just telling us about a girl's favorite activity is swimming, but there is no ongoing action. So that particular sentence is gerund. If we remove swimming, does that sentence make sense? No. Now, we'll move to our next example. My opponent gave a winning smile. Now, in this sentence, we see first, check whether that particular sentence, where there is any continuous action taking place. Yes, there is an action taking place. Someone gave a winning smile. Someone gave a smile. Some action is taking smile. We see that participle, the verb of a participle is adjective, verbal adjective. So even though if you remove that adjective, still that sentence makes sense. But in gerund, if we remove that noun, we see that that particular sentence won't make sense at all. I hope you all understood the difference of gerund and participle. Now we shall study about the function of gerund and participle. As I mentioned earlier, participles work as a verbal adjective while gerund functions as a noun. We shall see in the first example. I am afraid of howling wolves. Over here, howling, the meaning of howling means cry. Now it is telling us this particular sentence is an ongoing action. It is a continuous action. He is afraid of wolves, of howling wolves. So we see that an adjective, it is telling more about the word, more about the noun wolves. It is telling us about that particular person is getting scared of the wolf. So the work of an adjective is it tells more about the noun. It is telling more about the wolves. Now in the second sentence, the howling of wolves frightened me. Now over here, the howling of the wolf frightened me. There is no ongoing action over here. It is just telling us about that the howling of the wolf frightened me. Okay, so now gerund, it is a function of a noun. Now try, if we cancel the word howling in gerund, does that particular sentence make sense? The of howls frightened me. So we see that when we remove out a noun, that particular sentence won't make sense at all. Now we shall have some examples where you all have to identify whether that particular sentence is a gerund or a participle. I hope the difference is clear. Now, in your exams, they will mostly tell you all to identify which one is a gerund and a participle. Sometimes they will also tell you all to rewrite the sentence using ing. Now, here are few examples. Hunting a tiger is banned in our country. I like reading poetry. Jumping over the fence, the thief escaped. Praising all alike is praising none. I saw the clown standing on his head. Hearing the noise, I woke up. I am giving you all 2 minutes to identify. Okay, fine. I'm giving you all 5 minutes to identify which sentence is gerund and which one is a participle. In the first sentence, hunting a tiger is banned in our country. The second one is, I like reading poetry. The third one is, jumping over the fence, the thief escaped. Fourth sentence, praising all alike is praising none. Next, I saw the clown standing on his head. Hearing the noise, I woke up. Now, I am giving you all few minutes to just note it down which particular sentence is gerund and which particular sentence is a participle. Till then, I will repeat everything for you all. In gerund, it acts as a noun. Check whether that verb ending with ing is in the subject form, is in the object form, is working as an object complement, whether it is working as a subject complement, whether it's after a preposition. Ask the question what. See whether you get the answer. Then you cut down the word you cut down the noun, that is ing, the word with ing, and see whether that particular sentence makes some sense. If that particular sentence is working as a noun, cut down noun and see if that particular word is a noun, and if you remove it out, if it doesn't make sense, then that particular sentence is a gerund. About participle, check whether that particular activity is a continuous action. Even though if you remove out that adjective, still that particular sentence will make sense. Think for a second. Remember all my tricks. Ask the questions. See if you can. Whatever words are ending with ing, cancel that and see whether it stands for itself. If it is standing for itself, then maybe that particular sentence is an adjective and can be a participle. I hope you all have got the answers. Let's begin with our answers. I hope you all have got the answers to these questions. Now, the first one is a gerund. Why is a gerund? We'll check. If we cancel the noun hunting, let's see whether that particular sentence can stand for itself. A tiger is banned in our country. That sentence makes no sense at all, and therefore that particular sentence is a gerund. If we ask the question, what is banned in our country, we'll get the answer, hunting a tiger. Now, in the second question, you all must be thinking that this particular sentence will be participle. No, my dear friends. I like reading poetry. Over here, we see that the object like is there, and reading is the verb over here. Okay, it acts as a noun. It is telling us more about the poetry. Okay, and therefore it is an object of the word like, and therefore that particular sentence is a gerund. Jumping over the fence, the thief escaped. Now this is very easy to identify. In this sentence, we see some ongoing action taking place. Okay, the thief escaped because he jumped over the fence. We see that in that particular sentence there is some action taking place, and therefore that particular sentence is a participle. Praising all alike is praising none. Now, in this particular sentence, there is no ongoing action at all. It is just telling us some fact. It is telling us that praising all alike is praising none. So, in this particular sentence, there is no action at all, and therefore this particular sentence is a gerund. Now, in the third sentence, I saw the clown standing on his head. Here, some action is taking place. We see someone standing on his head, and therefore when we see an ongoing action taking place, then that particular sentence is a participle. Now, the last, hearing the noise, I woke up. Now, you heard something and therefore you got up. So, there was some action that took place, and because of that action you got up, and therefore that particular sentence is a participle. I hope these concepts are clear to identify which one is participle and which one is a gerund. Now, in this particular sentence, you will have to rewrite using the ing form of the underlined word. Now, once you look at the sentence, whichever word is underlined, you will have to rewrite using the ing form. To believe is to find the strength. You have to not write to again. Instead of to believe, you have to just write believing. Believing is to instead of to find. What is the ing form of find? Finding the strength. Believing is finding the strength. So you have to rewrite using ing form of the underlined word. They will give you the underlined word. You will have to just use ing and create a sensible sentence. Now, in the second sentence, pay attention. She would sit on the bench and practice on her violin. Now, we have to convert the word sit into ing form. If you write, she would sitting on the bench and practice on a violin, that sentence word is not making a sense at all. So now you all have to modify that sentence and make sure that that particular sentence is making some sense. What if we write sitting first and then complete the sentence? Let's check. Sitting on the bench. On the bench, who practiced? She practiced on her violin. Instead of and we have written the word she. She practiced on her violin. So if they tell you all to rewrite the underlined word, make sure that that particular sentence is making some sense. It is not possible to write she would sitting on the bench and practice on her voice. That sentence doesn't make sense at all, and therefore we have to modify the sentence, making sure that you have to write the sentence first, and after and you'll have to put comma. So let's see again the example. She would sit on the bench and practice on her violin. So we wrote first sitting on the bench. Instead of and we wrote she practiced on her violin. So the structure will be subject plus verb plus object. Okay. So sitting on the bench, she practiced on her violin. Now we'll move to a third example. He flew in and he put the He flew in and put the great red jewel on the table. Now in this sentence we see he flew in and put the great jewel on the table. Now and is over there. So instead of and we have to write he. Let's see. So if we write he flying in and put the great red gel on the table, that doesn't make sense at all. And therefore flew, if we add flew plus ing, it will be flying. So flying in, instead of and you wrote comma, he put the great jewel on the table. I hope you all understood this concept. Sometimes the underlined word can be written in the start to make a complete meaning to that sentence. I hope you all understood this concept of how to rewrite the words, how to rewrite the underlined words. And instead of and we have to put if the person is talking about she, he, they, and they, us, me, whatever is there, we have to mention it there in the and place. I hope this concept is clear.
In the second sentence, I have written on double, so it is only one on.
Now here is a quiz for you all. You will have to identify the underlined word, whether this particular word is a present participle or a gerund. Now I have given you all a lot of tricks to remember whether that particular sentence is a participle or a gerund. Now it is your time to check. I hope you all understood this lesson. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you all will write down your answers in your book. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy.